Hey there, Judi Jamieson, the Psychic here, and welcome to Intuitive Tuesday. This week's short video lesson, we're going to go over whether or not you may be a natural magnet for energy vampires, toxic people, predators, assholes. So if you're that person who has gone through your love life and you feel like you have an invisible tattoo on your forehead that reads, "I fall in love with angry assholes, alcoholics, jerk-offs," whatever word you want to put in there, this video is for you. We're going to go over the key traits as to why you would attract that kind of person and how to break the spell and just cut that shit out for good. Welcome to my channel. If you are new here and you are interested in expanding your consciousness, developing your natural, intuitive, and psychic gifts for personal empowerment and healing from toxic relationships, then you're going to want to hit the subscribe button that is right underneath this video, and I'm going to give you a second to do that right now. Alright, so before we get diving into this week's video, I want to let you know, make sure you hang out till the end of the video because I have a couple different freebies that will help you if you would like to take your expanded consciousness and your intuition and your psychic development to a whole nother freaking level. Alright, so let's go over first, what do these toxic energy vampires look for in a person? One of the key things that they look for in people that they can, we'll say, suck the life out of or consider yourself a source of supply or feed, right? It's people who have a need or desire to be seen or heard or acknowledged or felt. So what I mean by that is if you're someone who is a constant people pleaser, you have a very hard time saying no. If you're someone who grew up in an environment where you were emotionally neglected, what I mean by that is if you're needs, wants, feelings, desires, all of that stuff was never acknowledged or validated, kind of like you were ignored. If you heard phrases like somebody somewhere else has it worse, or you're too sensitive, or knock it off, or get over it, or, you know, stuff along those kind of lines, you were basically groomed to tolerate and be a magnet for various different forms of abuse. Basically, what went on is that you were basically trained that you're not important, not to be seen, to erased. Your sole purpose is just to do whatever it is that somebody else wants you to do to make somebody else happy. Something else that they look for is someone who really has no boundaries, that just allows themselves to be taken advantage of and railroaded to where it's like they can do whatever the hell it is that they want or take whatever it is that they want from you, and you will justify that crappy, shitty behavior. Or you have this, I don't want to say twisted mind warped, that if there's someone who claims to be a victim or they're having trouble or they're struggling, if you're someone who has a lot of empathy towards people and you're a healer or an empath, a lot of times we find ourselves in situations where we think we can help that person or we can save that person, and you become consumed into their garbage and their baggage, and you absorb it and take it on like it's your own. And then the next thing you know, all the shitty things that are going on in their life, they blame it on you like it's your freaking fault. Some other things that you can keep an eye out towards if you're in a relationship with someone and you find yourself feeling like you're getting intuitive nudges, but you're constantly second guessing yourself. And then when you do open your mouth, again, you're suppressed, whether you're told you're being crazy or you're overreacting or knock it off or you're being silly or you're being stupid. Again, the bottom line is your thoughts, feelings, wants, needs, desires, opinions are not being validated or acknowledged. Again, you get shoved to the side and pushed aside, and if you've had an entire lifetime of living like that, like you don't matter, you train yourself as an adult to put yourself last, you are very much prime predator, toxic people relationship material. You have no boundaries. So something else that you want to keep an eye out for and look for when you get intuitive nudges, if you're having a conversation with your significant other, partner, spouse, whatever, boyfriend, whatever the hell asshole in your life, and you realize, you know what, you feel like you're constantly being lied to or deceived, that's a red flag to pay attention to. You're getting intuitive nudges and you're suppressing them. Another thing to pay attention for was if you feel like the person just insulted you, but then again, you're using what's called cognitive dissonance to kind of justify and again twist it into, no, they really didn't just insult me, although that's maybe how you felt, but you're just trying to justify the behavior, like I'm overreacting. If you kind of find yourself in a situation where you feel like your significant other is flirting with other people and you're kind of feeling like, you know what, that makes me feel a little uncomfortable, I wouldn't do that to this person, again, you're squashing and killing your intuitive nudges. If you realize that the person that you're with really has no empathy for your feelings, or you're expressing that you're hurt or you're sad or you're not okay with that or you don't like it, and they're doing one of two things. One, they're either saying, oh, it's okay, it's all right, it won't happen again, and then it happens 25,000 other times, or if you just express that you don't like it and again you're being squashed, you're being silly, you're being ridiculous, you're overreacting, again, invalidation. You'll know it, you'll feel it, you will feel tight, you'll feel tension in your body, your stomach might get a knot in it, you might get a knot in your throat because your throat chakra is being blocked or constricted, whether somebody else is doing it or you're doing it to yourself. If you find yourself in a constant state of brain fog, confusion, or doubt, probably met a narcissist. So how do you know if you've met a narcissist? Then we're going to go into how to stop and break that whole attracting asshole type spell. If the beginning of your relationship was like this person fell from the heavens and they are your dream partner and they put you on a pedestal and they want to know everything about you and they cater to you and they brag to you, it's like you feel like you fell in love with God, or God handpicked and delivered you your perfect person as a whirlwind in the beginning. Pay attention to that, because the next thing that would happen if you fell in love with a narcissist is that you'll start getting low-level insults. So to give you an example like that, it might be like, oh, that's a really nice dress, but it kind of makes you look fat. And then you're going to dismiss it that, wow, he just told me I look fat. It starts out as little subtle stuff like that. Part of the final phase of this type of relationship, if you feel like the person that you fell in love with is changed, it's like you're with a freaking stranger and you find where the beginning of the relationship you were on this high, it's called a love bombing. Everything was so grand and wonderful and a whirlwind of freaking bliss, and now you find yourself, you feel like this person is killing you, they're sucking the life out of you. If you're having a clash and a confusion within yourself between, this person says they love me and this and everything's freaking wonderful, but yet they're doing this and this and this. There's that brain fog and confusion going on. So how do you stop? I used to think I had this invisible tattoo on my forehead that read, I fall in love with angry alcoholic assholes, right? It actually was an invisible tattoo, but it also read, I fall in love with narcissists. So how do you remove that tattoo for good? That invisible, shady freaking tattoo that only that type of person can see. One, you have to practice self-love. If you grew up in an environment, like I said, where your thoughts, feelings, wants, needs, and desires were never acknowledged, you were pretty much invisible, nothing you said or did or wanted freaking mattered, then you didn't grow up learning how to love and respect yourself. You seriously did not learn healthy boundaries. You did not learn how to say no, I ain't freaking going there, and you're so used to just saying yes to not cause waves. Maybe you care more about what somebody else thinks than you think about yourself. You kind of get what I'm saying here? What's going on is, more than likely, you have a lot of inner child wounds that you need to go back and heal. So evaluate what your belief system is, whether or not it's actually your belief system or something someone else pumped into your head and you absorbed as a fact, as a belief, when it really wasn't. It was somebody else's bullshit that they just pumped into you and you absorbed it. So as far as self-love, there is all different, numerous ways that you can practice self-love. Whether your self-love is you issues are you feel like you're not lovable, you're not worthy, maybe you have body shame issues, or when you look in the mirror, you think you're just fat and ugly and whatever, and you tear yourself apart. Codependency is another thing. Now, when I say codependency, I don't mean someone who is financially dependent upon somebody else. When you're a codependent, you feel like as an individual, as someone, as an individual soul, that you're not complete or whole without somebody else seeing you or validating you. So in other words, if you feel like, if you struggle being alone, not being in a relationship, that would be a codependent, because you feel like you're not whole. You need somebody else in order to make you feel complete or validate you. Self-love to the core. How do you break that spell? All the time, attention, gifts, soothing, whatever it is that you would give to this person who treats you like shit, give it to yourself. Give it all to yourself. Make yourself numero uno priority. The second thing you want to do, set some freaking healthy boundaries. If you have an issue with someone who says, okay, we're going to have dinner at 5:30, be home at 5:15, and they don't show up until 6, and they don't even have the common courtesy to let you know that they're running late or whatever the issue is, you know what your boundaries are. You know what it is that pisses you off, makes you feel uncomfortable, makes you feel forgotten about or last on the priority list. Write those things down, and if somebody violates them, evaluate who this person is, why they're violating them. In all honesty, they're probably violating them. Hard pill to freaking swallow, because they probably don't give a freaking shit. Third thing, go back and evaluate your childhood, how you grew up, the environment that you grew up, the things that you were that were said to you. Go back and evaluate your inner child. To give you an example, here I am 44 years old, and I could still hear my mother's voice in my head telling me, knock it off, you need to grow up, you're being too sensitive, get over it already. Somebody somewhere else has it worse. Those things stick with you in here, and they affect in here, and then go out and affect your relationships. Evaluate who the people are in your life that kind of squash you and make you feel like shit, who do not raise you and support you. If you resonated with this video and it made sense to you and it touched you in some way, shape, or form, and you're watching on YouTube, do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Let's just consider that a virtual high five between the two of us, that we're able to relate on the same freaking level. You feel me? You know what I'm talking about. Give me a second. I'm going to tell you about these freebies for you to take things to a whole nother freaking learning experience. Happy, healthy level. So I have a question for you. Do you feel like you are a magnet for toxic energy vampires? And I want you to comment below why you think you're a magnet for those type of assholes. If you've broken the spell of attracting toxic assholes into your life, please comment below and share with us what personal journey you went through and how you broke that spell and knocked that shit out for good. Alright, so remember I was telling you in the beginning of the video, hang out because I have some freebies for you. So I got a couple different things for you depending on what it is that you are into. Underneath this video, there's going to be a couple different links. One of them is 21 different ways how to repel negativity. So if you feel like you're in a space in life where you're constantly being hit with outside negative influences and you're just sick and freaking tired of that shit and you want to deflect it and have it go freaking somewhere else, check out the link that is below this video. The second freebie that I have for you is, if you feel like you're in a romantic relationship with someone and you feel like this person seems so freaking wonderful, now they're killing me after like a year or however much time has gone by, you may have fallen in love with a narcissist. Remember I described some key things about narcissistic type relationships? Anyway, underneath this video, there's going to be a link on how to spot a narcissist. It'll give you all the red flags to look out for the most, I call them freaking evil in disguise, because they freaking are. They're heartless, cold, soulless freaking energy monsters. The other freebie that I have for you, if you're like me and you're into card reading, or you're curious about reading your own cards, it doesn't matter if it's angel, tarot, or oracle cards, they all do the same freaking thing. The end result is giving you answers. There's some card spreads that I use in my personal life to answer certain, when shit's hitting the fan and you want to know what the fuck is going on, why is this going on, how this relates to a past life, really cool freaking card spreads to give you some answers like that. If you're having a hard time tuning into yourself, again, the freebie for that is right underneath this video. So there you go. There's this week's video. Again, I hope you comment it below. Talk to me. Let's make this a dialogue. I do get notifications when people comment, and I will reply back. Check out the freebies that are below this video. They are all created out of personal real-life experiences that I have gone through, and they are created with love from me to you. Hopefully you hit that subscribe button at the beginning of the video. If you didn't, make sure you freaking do it now. So this way I will see you right here next week on this channel. I hope you have a wonderful, phenomenal, kick freaking ass week.